it click to go live? Apparently,
we are streaming live on Facebook. Hello, hello, hello. It is That Good Crack, or That's Good Crack even.
I don't think we're live yet, man.
Just seeing up on this, we're streaming live on Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's still not come up here on this, on my right, so I don't think we're live.
Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. Live, a big red button up in the top of mine, left-hand side on Facebook.
Okay, we're live then.
How's it going, boys?
No bother,
What's the
lads.
crack?
That was as smooth as a sandpaper. but yeah, it's great to be back. My name is Mick, and I am joined as always with the two boys, Danny and Colin. How are you doing, boys?
What's the crack?
Yeah, what you call it? It's good to be back, lads. We have been on a hiatus from doing these podcasts, and after the lockdown, we throw ourselves into work and other things, and we're unable to commit to it. But,
Sorry, Miko.
Danny likes looking at himself, I think.
yeah, Danny's like, you know what I mean? He's just
No, I was trying to
listening back. It's only been a couple of seconds, Dan. You know what I mean? It's But yeah, we haven't been able to do it. But look, we've been looking at the numbers, and people are still listening to the podcast. People have been contacting us, asking us, said they've been listening, and that, like, you know, we do some more. So we decided, yes, we're going to come on and we're going to talk crap for a while and see what comes out. We have no preparation done as normal, but we're just three Irish guys who live drug and alcohol free, and like to put it out there that there is crack to be had, even though we don't do those things. But lads, great to see. How is the form?
That was a lovely intro, Michael. Michael T. Macaulay.
Michael T.
Mick T.
Actually, why isn't that your name from now on? Michael T.
Yeah, cool. That'll do me. I don't mind.
Mickey
You know what I
T.
mean? No, that's not. Like, it's either Michael T or it's Mick. You know what I mean? It's
Mick T's cool.
No, it's not.
Like kind of gangster.
In what
Like.
way? Mick T.
Ice T. Mick T.
Yeah, virtually the same thing, Danny. But, no, Michael T. It has that kind of, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's a bit of what do you call it? Sophistication, is it? Michael
It is.
T.
Michael, we could call you Michael T. Hooker.
Michael T. No. It's like Michael T. Like, you know what I mean? You're messing it
Michael
up.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, I definitely am feeling that from now on. It's no longer Mixer, Mick, Mike.
Miguel
Michael
T.
T.
So I just want to say, back into this whole lockdown bullshit again. And our lockdown this time looks a hell of a lot different than Danny's lockdown, who is spending his time in fucking helicopters and quad biking and jet skis.
Oh yeah, Danny kept the thing going, didn't he? Like, he crowned himself the crack master. Which, you know, it's a bit presumptuous, like, you know what I mean? Like, in fairness, it's like, you know, you're having a good bit of crack and all that type of thing, but it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like calling yourself the king or something like that.
I wish I crowned myself.
You're all right at the crack. Like, the crack master is a bit like, you know.
I wish I christened myself the Crack Master. I was actually christened the Crack Master by the people watching the live vlogs. They were just like the Crack Master, because I was doing the vlog with a guy called the Mac Master, there's a guy called the Night Strider, and then I got nicknamed the Crack Master, so I ran with it.
Does it not sound like the Wish version of the Mac Master?
It is the Wish version of the Crack Master. I am the Wish version of the Crack Master. But in all fairness, it's been a cool journey, that stuff. You know what I mean? I've been doing lots of really cool, like overcoming the fear of the helicopter. That was insane. Like,
no. Sorry.
Yeah.
I watched the video, Danny, right? And one thing you did not do was
overcome
the fear of the helicopter. You were shitting yourself before you went to the helicopter.
Oh,
you were shitting yourself during the helicopter, and you were shitting yourself after the helicopter.
Yeah.
It was like, I'd say, what you call it, but what you did was, like, you actually did it, which was good. That's what it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? The fact that you were absolutely breaking yourself, like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, fair play, man. You know what I mean? For anyone
there was a moment
they're that scared of, it's impressive.
There was a moment where he was like, right, I'm gonna do a 180, right? And he was like, I was like, 180, right? That sounds pretty not good. And then he goes, but I've got to get some air first. I was like, what does that mean? Whoop! He goes up like that, and he just starts banking doing a 180, and you can just see blue sky. I didn't know where to look, and you can just hear me in the back going, Jesus, 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 fuck! Like it's proper. I don't know if you've been on helicopters, but I'd say you have, Colin. Have you?
I have.
Yeah.
Well, not helicopters. I've been on a helicopter.
You kind of did a similar thing, overcoming stuff like
Did
that.
man?
Colin,
I had a really bad fear of heights after our little trip to the top of a skyscraper in Estonia,
yeah.
where Keith decided when we're hanging over the edge of a skyscraper looking down, decided to turn around and say, why do I always feel like jumping when I'm on the edge of something like this? And I got this twitch thing over me,
I
which
got
is
that too.
it's quite normal to get that. A lot of people get it. I didn't know, so it led on to a 3-year battle, thanks to Keith, with actually a massive anxiety around high things, like around even going bridges or anything like that. I got bad. But in the end, I was doing a photo shoot on an airfield, and guy asked me, did I want to go for a spin on a little airplane? And he started laughing when we got closer to the airplane because he knew I was afraid of heights. This thing was made of fucking plastic.
A hang glider, basically, with a coffin on the bottom of it.
So I went up in it and it was good.
Hang glider with what?
A coffin on the bottom, basically.
An engine.
Hanging out.
Oh, the power trike or the paratrike.
No, it was actually an airplane, but it was really small. I ended up going up in it anyway, and I never been bad since. So I did actually overcome a lot that day.
Fair play.
I still get dizzy around the heights, like, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't be hanging
hiking.
buildings with one hand now or anything. That type of stuff.
Well, you were telling us. I don't know if I'm able to talk about this now on the thing, but you were talking about possibly coming to see me here.
Yeah, for a few days then.
Yeah.
As soon as the level 5 thing is over, if I get out.
Oh, happy days. Happy days.
Do a lockdown with Danny.
To a lockdown, yeah. Well, the lockdown's over here, man. Well, it's not over. We have to do other stuff to kind of conform with it, what's going on. But it's we're not locked down, which is good. So we're able to do bits and bobs, as you were saying, like we're doing. It's like the opposite. It's like a flip of what it was before. The last time we were kind of on this was like I was the one with the more extreme one, as Mick was saying, and yeah, it's mad.
The dogs. This is one thing that came from the lockdown, the last one, was we got a dog into the household here. It was the first time we've had a dog. You know, Colin was a big dog guy, and he has his two. You know what I mean? And just never got around to it. It was just a big responsibility. Very busy with work and all that kind of thing. And we had loads of time. We were at home, and the opportunity to come up to get one. And wow, what an addition! I could not believe it. You know what I mean? I was saying, my brother, he's always been a big guy for dogs and stuff like that, and I really like dogs and everything, but I just never really got the connection. And I was just like, the amount of joy and you know, that she's after bringing into the house, it's just awesome. So it's great for your mental health, for anyone out there, you know what I mean. I know lots of people are getting them that. It's a big responsibility, like doing all the toilet training or whatever you call it, house training and all that type of stuff. It can be tough, but if you have the time and put the work in, the rewards are fantastic. Like, you know, just out walking around the forest there today and stuff like that. And it's just brilliant.
Sweet. And have you been, obviously, it's only a recent change, what's gone on. Have you guys been up to anything else, like?
Work has been the main thing. This is why I suppose the podcast haven't really happened. I suppose, to be honest, the last lockdown kind of financially, like, you know what I mean, it's really tough, you know what I mean? It's really tough to keep things going. And when you can't work, you know. And here's Hazel.
How are you, Hazel?
How are you getting on? And yeah, so I think everyone was in the same boat. We threw ourselves into work, you know. Well, I definitely did anyway. I just said, you know, I had a fair idea that another lockdown would kind of happen. I didn't want it to, but I just wanted to be kind of better financially kind of set up. So I just been working really, really hard to try and get that bit of a cushion there, you know. But really kind of feel for people, like, you know what I mean, that, like, I was lucky enough to be able to do that, you know. I suppose that is a an advantage for me personally, like not drinking and drugging, like you know what I mean. That personally, I wouldn't have been able to have that focus and be able to manage myself in the ways I needed to do it to kind of get back on my feet. If I hadn't have been, lots of people can, lots of people, when they don't have issues, can do that kind of stuff. I know I can't, you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's what it was for me. A lot of work, basically, But in that, back to the things we talked about in the last podcast and stuff like that. The meditation, I've kept up the meditation. I do the meditation twice a day. I do it in the morning before I get up, and I do it at night when I'm going to sleep. And Jesus Christ, I find it absolutely brilliant. I get up, my head can be in one type of headspace, and I do guided meditations. I just put it on, and it just changes my mindset all the time, which I'm finding brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, the meditation for me is great. I used to do a lot of guided stuff, and I've kind of really tapped into the kind of the silent ones, that kind of training the mind to be still. Now, in all fairness, it's rarely still, you know what I mean? I have moments where I'm on the breath, and then there's moments where there's like a million thoughts coming through my head, like about what I'm going to do in the day and that. But the 10 minutes for me it's the same as you. Like, it's the consistently doing it. The consistency is like, it's like anything. It's like throwing a jab daily, you know what I mean? Your jab gets better, and it becomes a huge part of it's like huge part of your life. It makes a massive difference. And for me, it's been like, I think I was looking at the app there, and it was like something like 720 or 730 days this morning of continuous, practice of meditation, without a day without meditation. You know what I mean?
Essentially meditate for 2 years every day straight.
No, I've had at least, like, so over those 700 something days, I've had at least one meditation a day. So maybe days I've had two meditations, and I might have missed a day some days. But consistently, I've rarely missed a day, but I have missed days. You know what I mean? So, but some days I've done two. So there's like 700 and something days. I don't know, but it has had a huge addition to my life. You know what I mean? Particularly, these days where you're kind of, Jesus, Mick just magically disappeared.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Did that just flash off like that to you?
Yeah, it did, yeah. But you know what I find fascinating about the meditation? I find that with the meditation, I find it more that I'm able to go back to it throughout the day if I need it, rather than just like, it's not this, it didn't have this big profound effect on my life where I'm like, oh my God, I feel like a different person. There's a lot of really good benefits from it. I get structure in the morning where when I get up, actually starting to get up earlier, do it early. I was going to bed early. A lot of different things. If there's ever any stress or anything throughout the day, you can always take 5 minutes out now. And I start looking into different types of meditation as well. Saying that, I haven't done it in a while. And it's something that I want to get back to. It definitely has a positive effect.
I've been involved in a group Danny actually got me involved in, and I've kept it rolling over. It's a 21-day kind of meditation challenge, and it's actually starting again tomorrow, so I'll add you in again, Carl, And
the last time we were talking about this is when I started doing it, and I actually kept it going for a couple of months, which was great. But then I was like, yeah, I think it just got a bit too repetitive, but definitely put me into it tomorrow.
I just think, like, for me, a big kind of block to doing it was like the way you're doing it, Danny, like, you know what I mean? Which is, like, I presume is a better way, like, you know what I mean? But with the guided meditation, it's just, I just turn up, I just put it on. And a lot of the time, because my head can be busy, I have something else to focus on and everything like that. And whatever way it works, maybe you can get more benefits, and I'm sure you can from it, but I am 100% getting benefits of it. You know what I mean? So it's just for anyone that may have that blocks to think, like, you know what I mean, meditation, sitting down for 5 minutes when you're not used to trying to quieten your mind. When your mind is busy, 5 minutes is a long time. You know what I mean? But I find if I'm sitting down, I can actually have something to kind of listen to and stuff like that. I'm just finding myself personally, I found it brilliant.
Did you ever recommend meditation to someone and it's like a foreign a completely alien process for someone to do, or to look at you as if you're some sort of fucking psychopath.
I don't know if it's psychopath, but like, obviously there's some people that it's just never going to suit. You know what I mean? Some people are never going to be open to it. I sent on a guided meditation to a few people, like, you know what I mean? And on reflection, I'm kind of going, I could just imagine the way they looked at that and went, what's this weird on about? It doesn't bother me, thank God. You know what I mean? It's really, like, I mean, it most definitely is their shit. You know what I mean? But
As we have someone just dropped a chat in there. Andrew, actually, who does the other vlogs with me, the Night Strider, is his nickname. He's just dropped a message. Howie Andrew, he said, good chat, lads.
Hurry, Andrew, how the hell are you? What you call it? I've seen a few of your videos, mate. Like, well done. What you call it? We've had to take Danny back from you for a while, but he's been. I won't say what I was going to say there, but yeah, nice one, Andrew.
So thanks, Andrew. All good. Yeah, man. When I was the first time, like, yeah, that question is interesting, man, because the first time it was actually said to me, like, oh, you should try meditation. I was like, that hippie shy, you know what I mean? That's the way, that was my head. It was like, that's.
It was when you were trying to get me to do it.
Was it?
I often said, like, you know what I mean? I sent out, as part of that meditation thing, you start up your own group, and I sent out, like, I think it was 11 texts, and I thought no one was going to come back, and like 10 of them came back, like, yeah, and Colin came back, no man, not into that.
But it was just mental. But when it was like, it was make more money in life and stuff, it's like, okay, now you have my attention.
That's not what it was.
No, but there is an area of that you're focusing on.
You can if you wish, yeah,
Definitely. He has a new Deepak Chopra has 21 day meditation.
But the thing is this, right? And I think it's what you were saying there, Colin. Like, for me, it's like whether or not it's, if it's money that attracts you to meditation, or if it's, for example, you see a hot woman going to a meditation group and you go in there, and that's the reason you get brought into there, and then you come out and it adds something to your life. It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as whatever attracts you there in the first place, and you get the benefit out of the meditation, it's well worth it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to bring it in about the meditation, it's this 21-day abundance meditation, and it's actually to change your, like, as a part of that, yeah, financial gain could be part of it, because it breaks it down. Actually, our kind of sick relationship a lot of us have, definitely I do, like, you know what I mean, and the resistance you can have to it around, like, you know, when it came into it, like, and even just the mention of it, I started to feel like the whole process was tainted, like, you know what I mean, we're talking about money, but what I was doing was trying to recondition your mind, or to view it differently, like, you know what I mean, that, like, we all need money. Okay, we all need money. It's very, like, obviously that's what you see when you see what happens when you get a lockdown, you can't work, you do all these type of things. Very clearly and vividly, you see how much you need money. Like, I mean, that's the life I want to live. I want to live in this society. I want to be able to go around and do me things, but it's not to be controlled by it, like, you mean, and not to be in a fear of it. And like, if you're driven by that, like, you mean, it's like to get away from that, to go with the flow of life, like, you know what I mean, to open up to all these new possibilities. A very positive thing. It's just accepting that kind of thing. A lot of people that I involved in the group, as soon as it came into it about it, they were all like contacting me, going on uncomfortable about this, man, and all this type of stuff. And I was like, no, listen, actually listen to what they're saying. It's like, and it's totally true, like, you know what I mean, that we are conditioned to think that, like, money is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Money is an inanimate object. Like, it's just sitting there, like, you know what I mean? It's what we do it, how we react to it. You know what I mean? If we change our, like,
relationship
with it, thanks, like, you know, that's where the key to it is, like, you know. And my relationship to money, to us, like, to, when they say abundance, of course, think money, yeah, but my relationship with money has completely changed. Do I, not changed as in I don't want it, not changed as in I don't want a bit more security for myself and my family, not changed as in I don't want my businesses to succeed, not changed in any of those types of ways, but the chasing of it, the obsession of it, the what you call it, just the unhealthy relationship, like, it's not completely changed, but it has changed a lot. But an abundance in life, like, you know what I mean, we have an abundance of love, abundance of friendship, and abundance of so much stuff, like, you know. And for me, it's been an amazing thing to focus on. Every morning to get up, to be like, you know what I mean, focusing on gratitude for the day, to live like there'll be another time where you're asked not to judge any situation for the whole day, and you think like that's totally impossible. Like I mean, you got to shift that's totally impossible. But if you just check yourself every time you're in a situation and someone's talking to you and you're judging them, or you know what I mean? It doesn't have to. You see how many times, first of all, you judge during the day, like, you know what I mean, unnecessarily. That's the thing, like, you know. And even just being made aware of that stuff has been absolutely. It's been amazing for me. I really, really find it brilliant. And I'd love actually with the chat or when anyone that's listening, you know, what I mean, to contact us and actually give us a heads up on any other kind of one of these meditation challenges or stuff like that, or groups that you're involved in. We've had a rollover of the group now. I don't know how many months. It could be 8 months. I think it's been going, and there's still, like, you know what I mean, a good few heads doing it and that, and it's brilliant, brilliant. But any of the listeners and like that, you know what I mean, send it in to us, and we'll give it a try. What you call it? We'll do a review of it then after.
I think it's a good point you're making, because I think that depending on where you're brought up and your backgrounds, a lot of us are kind of sometimes there could be a bit of shame about pursuing money. Not in I don't mean in a greedy sense, but like in a sense that yeah, you want abundance of this in your life, like and it does having financial stability or money coming in. It does allow you to be more relaxed in every other area of your life. And what I've found over I used to be always stressed about money, always like, I grew up, you know, I'm not a big fan of sharing this, but my family struggled with money in the early days when I was growing up in school, and my mom and dad didn't have the best of cars. And I'm not saying having the best of cars means you're the best parent or whatever. My parents were great, bringing me up but it was that kind of shame around not having enough money and that kind of mentality, and like about pursuing money and stuff like that, and I always kind of had fears around not having enough money, and it was a stress in my life. And a minute, like that particular meditation practice helped me a lot, but on other levels as well, as just kind of going, letting go of the fact, when I let go of the fact of this kind of massive fear around money, this massive, fear around it, is literally being able to just kind of let go of it and say, I have enough money. Exactly what that abundance meditation. There's abundance of that in my life. Stop trying to hold on to it so tightly. Let go of it. And it's just kind of flowed into my life. I watch stuff come into my life, even now when things are the way they are now. I'd be like, oh geez, sometimes I think, oh geez, where the money's coming in. Anyway, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Just relax, it's gonna be fine. And next thing, a booking will come in, or something had happened, or I get a contact, or it would just flow into my life because I'm open to it and I'm not stressing about it and I'm not going through that. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying, based on the abundance thing, is kind of that inviting it into your life and not having all those preconditions around it. You know what I mean? There's a message here from Andrew again. Good topic. Money can be a huge obsession, but also a huge pressure on your life. Personally, if I don't achieve the same amount of income as I did the month before, I get pretty down and start to cut back. Cut back to spending for that month to make up for that type of thing. So, yeah, money's a thing that there's a lot, stigmas around money. I think, you know what I mean. A lot of stigmas.
Well,
What
I
do you
think
think?
we carry on a lot of, like, I mean, it's carried on through families as well, and your
Yeah,
attitude to money and stuff like that. And I find it fascinating. There's like they've done studies where a lot of people can have this psychological thing where if they feel like they shouldn't earn more than their fathers, right? So they have an idealized vision of their father, say for instance, and they might have seen him very hard work and all that type of thing, and they may have achieved a certain level of financial, like, a financial thing, and say for instance they get into a job that's just very lucrative. Say for instance they just land in this job and all of a sudden it's like, you know what I mean, it just becomes very lucrative, so they're making way more money than their father ever did, but it seems like they haven't worked to get there. They will it's like subconsciously they will like get rid of that money. So like start blowing money everywhere, what you call it, making really rash decisions around it. It's like can't get it out of their hands quick enough. But they've actually done studies about it, like you know what I mean, and I find out that there's a psychological thing to it, like you know what I mean. It's just one that's one trait that like can be involved in it. But it's like that thing of this if you come from a place like I was the same as you, Daddy or Danny, what you call it, my family, like you know what I mean, there would have been a lot of us. Parents were hardworking people, didn't have a lot of money, didn't have like fancy cars, didn't have anything like that. And you kind of feel like you know what I mean that you're in a certain bracket, like you know. And now I'm not saying I'm out of that bracket. I just you know what I mean. I'm doing a little bit better now than I would have, like you know what I mean, for like you know what I mean the early parts of my life. And but still you can have this mentality, like you know what I mean, that it's like it's an unhealthy mentality, that it's almost like you know that trying to achieve in life or trying to get on in life or something like that, that there's something negative about it. It's just like you know that there's something dirty about it almost, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's just to change that kind of mentality, to kind of actually see it for what it is, like you know what I mean. That if you're not driven by those things, it's the exact opposite of that. Well, as far as this, the thing that we've been doing anyway, it's like it's just accepting that this is it's a vital part of life, the one that I'm choosing to live. It's a vital part of life to have a certain amount of money, and that it is okay. Um, it is okay to want to strive to get it, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just a healthier way to be, man. And from when I did that, like I'm not obsessed about money. I never really was, like you know. But it's like the obsession for me when it comes in, and the problem is around fear. It's like fear of not having enough, fear of like you talked about of how I'm viewed by the rest of the world. Have I
Yeah.
achieved? Am I enough? All these things. None of these things I'm going to get from money. You know what I mean? Um, but no, I like you know what I mean. There's tasks that to do in it and stuff like that. I just found great. You know what I mean? It's like the stuff that they point out, and it's really changed my view on stuff. You know what I mean? It's been a very healthy journey for me. You know?
Have you noticed many changes, Carl?
I did at the time. I like a lot of stuff go on recently. Anything that like
Your mic's breaking up, bro.
who's mine?
Yeah, couldn't hear you there.
There's a lot of interference coming through my mic or my earphones.
It's good here though.
Yeah. So you know the two ye terms of your behaviors towards work can be quite obsessive for both of you. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same as well. When I get stuck into something, I kind of go, oh, or not, you know. And it's kind of, do you think like that kind of obsession stems from the same behaviors that got you into trouble with substances or whatever, you know?
100%. Like I have, like you talked about, like I mean, I have when I get focused on something, I can like we've talked about here in the podcast before. It's been a very this time around, it's been a very kind of focused thing that I've done. Like you know what I mean, I just set goals. I said I was going to. You are.
Channeling the energy correctly.
Yeah, channeling it in a healthy way, being aware of what I was doing. The problem is for me, like if I get an obsession, say for instance, like you know what I mean, and it's what I'm using it for. I'm using it as a distraction. I'm using it to change how I'm feeling. I'm using all these type of things. But like you know what I realized in myself, there's a mixture in me, like you know what I mean, that like I do have an obsessive mind, you know, compulsive behaviors and all that type of thing, but I also have a drive. I have an energy, you know what I mean? And it's a positive energy. I've done it in my life, like when I've taken on situations, like I may have been I was involved in some charity stuff and all that type of thing. And I took the helm at some, like, you know what I mean? Some high level kind of things. There was a lot to it, like, you know what I mean? And I just threw myself at it. And it was the first time I actually realized in my life that when I focus on something, you know what I mean, how much I can achieve, you know, and it was like, it was a positive thing. It wasn't like, but I threw myself into partying like that. You know what I mean? I threw myself into that like it was extreme, you know. I don't completely conflate the two, but this time but I do like I mean I do take on board 100% in my life. I have had that drive where it has been unhealthy. Like, you know what I mean? I've been doing it for wrong. I've been doing it like from a fearful place. Say, for instance, like, you know what I mean? I don't have enough. I have to get it. I have to get it. I have to get it. And it's at the detriment of my my physical self, my mental health, my interpersonal relationships, all those types of things were being damaged, you know. This time around, I decided I was going to start a new business, as you know, do all these different type of things. And I knew before outset, I knew the dark holes I can go into. I knew the pitfalls I can have. So I sat down with my partner. I explained the plan that I had. I said that if I'm going to do this, it's going to be long hours. It's going to be a lot of, like, you know what I mean, stuff I can't do to get where we want to get and all this type of stuff. Like, you know, and I said I'm gonna have to take care of myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what I mean? And so there was actually a plan I put in place that was around the meditation, journaling, like, you know what I mean, talking with people, doing all this type of stuff to stay on top of it. Because if I hadn't have that drive that I have, I would drive myself into the ground. I would, like, you know what I mean. But I've been good, man. You know what I mean. I've kept up a lot of long hours and a lot of focus and all that type of thing. And but because I kept myself healthy, um, mentally and spiritually mainly, like, you know what I mean. I don't know. It's just it's been okay. You know what I mean? That's the way I would answer that. That yeah, there are links there, but this time around, I feel like, I mean, I've been able to kind of keep the balance pretty much, pretty much.
So is there looking after yourself mentally or looking after yourself spiritually? Is that your meditation and your journaling? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, and also prayer. Like, I mean, I also like, I mean, I also pray. I also just because, you know, not to go too deep into it, but I suppose um where I get, like, you know, I mean, a problem when I say spiritually, where I can get into a problem with this is that if I'm driven by self, if I'm driven by my ego, you know what I mean, that, like, you know, that I'm in control, right? I by like I want things to work out a certain way, right? And I get this drive in me, and very much leading back into the meditation and stuff like that. When I'm at my best is when I can be moving forward with great, like, veracity, like, I mean, I'm really heading for something, like, and when things start to not go my way, like that, I can, like, you know, do what I can do and accept the outcome. You know, I don't become obsessed with changing it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like go into fear, go into panic. Things aren't going my way. It's all going to shit. It's all falling apart. And then I start to try and control that. You know what I mean? And that affects every area of my life. You know what I mean? But if I can accept it on an ongoing basis that I'm not in control. I can do what I can do, and the world will go as it's gonna go, and the outcomes and all those types of things are out of my control. To get to that place, I use prayer. You know what I mean? To understand that I'm not God. I'm not this most important thing in the world that can control everything. You know what I mean? If I get into that kind of mindset that I can control everything, that's where I go into a bad place. You know what I mean?
Are you
Uh,
talking about prayer in the conventional sense, like the usual, or do you have like,
Sorry, man.
are you talking about prayer in the sense that, like, organized religion prayer, or is there something else that you have found yourself?
No, no organized religious prayers. No, it's like you
Because when
know,
someone hears prayer, that's the first thing you're going to hear, right? But I'm curious to know if it's something different.
yeah, no, I just converse with something higher than me, man. I just do believe that there's, whether it's God or it could be up there in the church, I don't know. It's not, I don't say a set prayer or anything like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the times just asking for help, a lot of times just asking for me to be relieved of fear, to kind of actually accept it. Like, you know what I mean? Accept that I am not in control of this world. You know what I mean? And I know that might sound mad to people, but like, if you actually like play out a lot of the thought processes that you can have, like, you know what I mean, when you go into these places of fear and you want to control everything that's happening because it's not turning out the way you want to do it, you have this kind of feeling that you're able to control way more than you ever could. Like, you know what I mean? I can't control the whole world. I can't control these outcomes. You know what I mean? I turn up and I do what I can do. And when you'll see it when people, driven people, like, you know what I mean, where I can get unhealthy, I feel like, you know what I mean, or where I can get unhealthy with me, is where If I feel something like in my life isn't going my way, it's when I get unhealthy around it, when I actually start to control it, and that's where I run into problem. When I say prayer, man, you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm praying to, like, you know what I mean? Just something higher than myself I have found, like, you know what I mean, that
Kind of releasing
it's
it to the
healthy for me.
well, no?
Sorry?
Kind of letting it go out to the universe, I suppose.
Well, that's one way of saying it, but what's the universe like? You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't myself personally, like if someone has an organized religion or anything like that, once they're not trying to do something to me, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I don't care at all. I think there's a lot of good in it as well. Like, you know what I mean, and obviously there's a lot of bad if it gets out of its box. You know what I mean, where it's actually coming into society and stuff like that, and being used as a control mechanism or something like that. Well, then of course it's an unhealthy thing. But on an individual basis, I think it can be a fantastically good thing.
Well, if
Dan,
you,
Danny, just for one sec there, right?
yeah, sorry, bud.
Just how, like, so you as a practicing devoted Jehovah Witness, how do you feel?
Oh yeah, I just go knocking every weekend. That's my crack. Um,
That's my release.
yeah, my really look. If there's any, look, look, I've no issues with. It's the intention from Roisin. How are you, Roisin? How are you doing? Roisin V has just said it's the intention. I send a message there. How are you,
Hi,
Roisin?
Roisin. How you doing?
Just to clarify, if anyone is a Jehovah, I have no issues with Jehovah, but I'm not a Jehovah. I think, personally, I think if someone can find peace in anything, as long as it's not harming other people, I think it's a good thing. And one of the things that kind of stood out for me that you were saying there, Mick, is look, I believe in something more powerful than myself as well. I have a huge connection with something more powerful from myself. And recently, there, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I went stargazing up in the mountain here. Tatey's, it's one of the top 3 places in the world to see the stars. This isn't a pitch, by the way. So, how are you doing, Roisin? Roisin said, hey again.
Danny's actually selling trips to
Yeah,
This has
not,
become an infomercial.
yeah,
I didn't realize I was duped into a fucking infomercial. Like, you know what I mean?
product placements.
Yeah.
So, if you do want to book this trip and feel connected to your higher power, give me a shout. But on a serious note, I was up there, and so the guy had his telescope out, and like up there, you can just see, like you can see the Milky Way. You know what I mean? You can see the shape of the Milky Way. You can see so much universe. And then when he starts talking about how far it is away, how many universes there is, and he's taking out this telescope and you're looking at Saturn, you're looking at Jupiter, you're thinking, and then you think about what you've just, it's kind of like I was transported from this world of, oh God, how am I going to get through the next few months if we don't have tourism? How am I going to get through all the stuff that's trapped inside my head that's going around that can stress me out? You know what I mean? About my future and the doubts and all that. Then you go up there and you're like, we're just like this little speck in this huge universe of energy. You know what I mean? And it's just mad. And to think that, that there's not more up there or out there or something more powerful than ourselves, for me, than myself, would be fairly, in my opinion, for myself, would be a bit mental. You know what I mean? Because look at the world, man. It's huge. Well, it might not be like a god. It might not be, but this stuff was created from somewhere. You know what I mean?
It's like, but I just am after thinking back there to actually Michael Harding that we had on the fantastic interview we did with Michael Harding. And
Oh, great.
if you haven't listened to it, please go back and listen. But when he was saying that, and Colin, you were talking about God, and he says, but like, what God? What God are you on about? See, this is the thing. It's just this word, like, I mean, that does manifest something. Like, it manifests a lot of negative things in a lot of people, but it's like, it's still the easiest one to say that you actually know what people are talking about. Now, it could be a different thing to lots of people, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But ultimately, what is it? And it's just, for me, it's just something that there is something there more powerful than me, out of my control, like, you know what I mean, that, is a positive thing. For me, it's just
Yeah.
love, you know what I mean, it's positive energy, it's all that type of thing. And it's one of those things that, like, you know what I mean, the more you look into, like that, Danny, looking up at the Milky Way and all that type of stuff, it's actually, the more you look into science, the more like with me, the more I go, what? It's like I go like I haven't a iota, the arrogance of me to think that I understand, like, you know what I mean, the cosmos, the like, you know what I mean, energy fields, like, you know what I mean, all these things. I haven't a I haven't a fraction of the understanding of what's going on just even around me,
Yeah.
in the physical world, never mind I'm past it. I don't like, and the arrogance to think, but it's just this thing with God. And listen, I've been down the road. I've listened to all the atheist writers and all this type of thing, and they're picking apart ancient like stories out of the Bible and all that. And I'm like, dude, like, you know what I mean, no one's going around fucking, like, you know what I mean. That's not what we're talking about here. It's just like, you know, that there's something like, you know what I mean, whether it be this something that thinks like us or not, but just there was a beginning, right? You know,
Yeah.
the Big Bang or whatever like that, you know what I mean? And if you look from that point on, right, and what happened and where we have gotten to now, the mysteries that are involved in that and are still wrapped up in that, that they're not even close to explaining. They're coming up with hypotheses and everything like that. Everything they say makes it more amazing. Everything you look into makes it more amazing and more greater. So, what do I like? You know what I mean, I don't know. Is there a positive energy there? You know, that drives creation, that drives this thing to keep moving. You know what I mean? I think there is. You know, I think there's something I can tap into when I'm in that positive energy and I tap into it and I go into that place. Like, you know what I mean, of letting go, something bigger than me is going on. You know what I mean? It's an energy, it's a positive energy that's there in this world around me. Like, you know what I mean? And when I'm tapped into that, I am a better human being. I'm a better human being in the inside. I'm a better human being to be around. And for me, when I have, like Roisin said, the intention, you know what I mean? I've turned up. For me, Roisin, I've been down that road as well of being very vague about it, like, you know what I mean? And like, that, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. What I mean is, I because I'm so confused by a lot of it, and like, you know what I mean, I didn't want to go down that road of, like, you know, like you were saying, Colin, organized religion and all that resistance to, like, you know, don't want to call it God, don't want to call it. I just let go of all that stuff. I was just there to myself, like, you know, the more I tap into this stuff, the more I pray, the more I accept that I am not the most powerful thing in the world, the more I accept, like, you know what I mean, that um you know, I can't control the world. I can't control outcomes. Like, you know, all these type of things. Just let go of that fear. The more I'm into that, I don't know. I feel like I'm connecting into something different. I feel like I'm connecting into something that I can call God. You know what I mean? I'm becoming more comfortable with actually saying that. You know, and there's a part of me as well that likes making people uncomfortable. I'm like that. You know what I mean? That, like, when I know that it's a bit kind of like, I knew this musician, like, you know what I mean, and he's a very, very talented guy, you know what I mean. And this is back a few years ago. I remember hearing him play, and he's a young musician, and he turned around and he used to say at the end of it, he said, "God bless." And I was thinking, that's the punkest thing I've fucking heard in years, you know what I mean? Because it's the most uncool thing to say, you know what I mean? But there's a part of me, when I know it makes people uncomfortable, I like talking about God.
uh,
My views went from being an absolute staunch atheist, where you just die in the ground, you die in the ground, or I mean, whatever the fuck, to actually just saying I haven't a clue. I just don't know. I don't know. How the fuck are you supposed to know that?
No, that's
No,
it.
no, no, no.
It definitely can't be proved either way anyway. I've heard the ultimate, like, on both sides, like, I mean, and really it'll always boil down to, what do you want to believe in? You know what I mean? It's like, I choose to believe, you know what I mean? That's simple as, you know what I mean? My life is better when I'm in a position where I choose to believe that there is a beautiful, fucking loving, creative energy that I can tap into. And when I
So
do,
have you had that? So, say for instance, well, how long have you been on this journey now? Maybe 14 years, isn't it? So,
yeah, 13 odd, yeah.
so with that, if you could put it, probably a stupid question, but into percentages, how is that spiritual side of it everything, or was it like a small part of the journey, or has it always been the way you're talking about it now?
No, it's like, it's been a continuous one, and it's either like, what level have I not been in it? You know, like, in a way, it's like, for loads of this journey, I could say mentally and spiritually, I have been, like, you know what I mean, in ways unwell, like, you know what I mean. I'm dark. fearful, resentful, intolerant. Like, you know what I mean? I've been in places where no, definitely it hasn't been good. But the one thing about me is, man, you know what I mean? I'll go to a certain point where I'll just go, I used to say, sorry, pardon me, French, but there's only so long I'll sit in the shit. I let myself, I might go down, I might get heavy, I might get dark, I might get all these types of things. But I have seen a way of life from being clean, and I've come to a place where I know there's a better way to live. Like, you know what I mean? And I know I can tap into that, you know what I mean? I know I can be a positive person. I know I can have a positive life, you know what I mean? And it has been a journey of I will get back up and I will try something else. I will open up to something new. Like I went down a journey with that thing with atheism and all that. And it's very difficult because you're listening to very intelligent people who are articulating stuff, and they're explaining their point of view so um like, you know what I mean, strongly, like, you know, that you know, like I almost felt like I was just so foolish to even think about something else. But what I decided, I've talked about before, like, you know, it brought me to a place where I was just feeling hollow. I wanted more. You know what I mean? My father was after passing away. I suppose my sense of mortality started to come in where it's like, Jesus, man, this show is going to be over at some stage, you know? And it opened up this door. I was just going, look, you know, I'd be interested in looking for something a bit more, you know what I mean, connected to me. And so I just came up with this idea of starting to listen to people and to read people who, intelligent people, like who did believe in something else, believed in a God, believed in whatever. And when I listened to them, you know what I mean, it was a different feeling, man. You know what I mean? It's not a feeling I got from listening to or from reading atheists or anything like that. From a lot of these people, G.K. Chesterton, C.S. Lewis, loads of these writers, like, you know what I mean, that wrote about their belief, and they came from being atheists into belief and all that type of stuff. And I was going, this, well, it can't be proved, but this is where I want to be. This energy that I'm getting from these people, from this, what they're talking about, the way they're talking about, that's where I want my life to be. I don't want it to be in the other way. And that's very simple for me. You know what I mean? That it can never be proven to me that there is a God. I don't get caught up in whether it's a God that can talk to me, listen to me. You know what I mean? I just do it. You know what I mean? And it's like when I do it, I'm in a better place. I'm humble. I understand my limitations. You know what I mean? But I also have a belief in myself, like you talked about. That I do have these traits. I mean, that I can use to me advantage. Like, you mean, I am driven. I am hard working. You know what I mean? I am focused. You know, and when I put those things together in a healthy way, you know, it can be good. You know, but yeah, I don't know. That I can't even remember where I started with that. But yeah.
I think as you speak very passionately, kind of about the spiritual side of things. So it's just more so like how much of a part of it has it been, and not drinking or that for 14 years, you know.
Well, for my health, mental health, and stuff like that, it's been a massive part of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've
That's
been in, but I've
what.
been in loads of different places with it. Like, you know what I mean, there's lots of places in this 13 years, as I said, like, you know what I mean, where I wasn't in a good space, man. You know what I mean? It was like when I look back on it, I go to myself, "Fuck, man, you were off the track there," you know. Still getting up, still functioning in my world. I wasn't doing that, like, you know what I mean, really crazy or stuff, but like, you know, um, staying open to it, trying things, all that. I've just found stuff that works and stuff that happens. I go away from it because, you know, it's all work. Like anything you do, a practice, like a spiritual practice, like this meditation, getting up, doing it like that. It's work. You know what I mean? You have to get up and you have to do it. Like, so often I'll go away from these things that I even find are beneficial to me. Like, you know, whether it be journaling, whether it be meditation, whether any of this type of stuff. But I'll come to a point where I'll go, this ain't working. Like, I'm feeling like shit. Oh, I'll go back and do that thing that was making me feel good, you know? So it's like, you know, I will go back to it as it goes along. But no, but this, if I used to say that, like, it's, there's been years in amongst those 13 years of the journey where I wasn't focused on a spiritual life or anything like that. But there's also been large chunks of it where it has. And now it's not even a thing where I'd say it's this focus on my life. I I create routines for myself, because what I've learned about myself is I'm not good at like deciding to do stuff, right? So if it's go to the gym, eat healthily, meditation, journaling, like, you know, whatever it may be, that if I have to make those decisions on a daily basis, what happens is I stop doing them. So what I do is I come up with a routine. So when I get up in the morning, I wake up, I have my meditation, put on my earphones, do my meditation, get up, do my morning routine, get down, do a bit of yoga, all that type of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So I have my routine that I do every morning, same day I get up and I do it. And that changes as I go along. You know what I mean? Some stuff's working, some stuff's not. I'll come out, I'll go in, everything like that. And as my day goes on, then I just have my routines. I know when I'm going to be doing stuff. And for me, that's how I've been able to maintain my folk or what I've been doing, like, you know what I mean, whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever. So now it's not this focus. I don't go around thinking about it. I just do things that work. Do you know what I mean? So I know these things work. I know when I have them in my life, my life is just better. And it's the way I even approach stuff. As again, I've tried it a million different ways. Like, you know what I mean? Just letting things go. A lot of the time, like now, when I get fearful, I know what's going on. I'm fearful. I know it's just time to let it go. So because I've tried it the other way so many times, tried controlling stuff, manipulating the situation, do all that type of things, gotten, like, you know, dark in my mind, and the situation's turning out to be a shit show. And I've done it that way, and I've done it the other way of letting go, and I've just realized that works way better.
Yeah. But Danny, I see it's your time. We can have to wrap it up.
Yeah, unfortunately, lads.
Just give me 5 seconds there, just from your perspective, spirituality from a former cult leader like yourself.
You must join the cult of Daniel.
So if anyone's looking to book any trips out in Tenerife,
I will bring you to the mountain. We will pray to the God of the stars. At which point, when we're finished, you must empty your bank accounts into my bank account. Is that okay?
Seems fair, man.
It's a good deal. For all your money, you will have abundance of light and spirituality for the rest of your lives. At this mere snip of €100,000. Terms and conditions apply. Please read below. And yeah, that's it. A steal, a deal. It's also, what was it? A steal, a deal, or of the, remember in Snatch, was it? Or Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels? It's a wheel, it's a deal, it's the steal, or it's a wheel, it's a steal, it's a deal of the century. I might as well fucking buy it myself. Do you remember that?
No.
All right. Right, lads. I have to go. I've got to go and drink mocktails on a terrace looking at the ocean. Not to make you jealous or anything.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, you are making jealous, so just to know for future reference, like, you know what I mean, before you
not to mention it.
You are just inspiring me, Daniel.
It's all right. Just
I don't get jealous.
Hand over the money, and you can have this life, mate.
Yeah,
I'll leave my IBAN number in the description.
Sweet.
Perfect. So go on, lads. See you later.
All right, boys.
Lads, good to see you. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We had a few
folks.
people watching us. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Roisin. No one else showed their names, but thanks, everyone. And happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, Danny.
Happy birthday,
Cheers,
Danny.
lads. Take it easy.
Happy 50th.
51. Hold on now. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and let's see if I do this right, because it's the first time I've closed off a live. Donal Harney was watching. He said, "Great show, lads." Thanks a million, Donal.
Thanks, Donal.
Hold on. End it. End for all. But actually, hold on now.